If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at insori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in a Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch indeed. Shout out to Cassia Campbell, Charles Shalidem.
To buy our merch.
It's a very long way of
Alright,
saying
you
buy our merch.
We are doing the Nick birthday DJ stream. The
Yes.
next song on our list is Overkill-Fatal If Swallowed.
555 on that one.
Oh.
If you guys were in the previous streams, welcome back for the 3rd time. If you're new, welcome. We are Vin and Sori, and the moment has arrived, dear listener. Here is Fatal If Swallowed by the band Overkill for the DJ Nick, who's right there. And the time has arrived. You're selling for time because you can't find the thing, but I just found it. Let's do it. Shut up.
Babe. Save me from this review. Save me from this. I really thought that you were teasing me. So, like...
Nope!
I didn't realize what the song was about.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the song's about. We gotta analyze,
that last line tells you, look.
We've gotta analyze the lyrical content! We gotta analyze the lyrical content, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, as Stephen Amwar says, it's a
romantic love song.
It's a romantic love song, dear listener. Metal is a very, very, diverse genre.
And it had a classic sound to it.
Yeah.
Vocal style.
Yeah.
The sound of the guitars.
Yeah, definitely had an Iron Maiden vocal style to it, for sure. What'd you say?
This came out in 1987.
Uh-huh.
Babe, what are we gonna do with these lyrics?
What? Lust is a fire which warms you in the night, scorching the edge of your soul. I am desire, your eyes are filled with light, pleasing the master your goal. Like a fly to a spider, against my web you fight, my poison dousing your flame. Call on the lyre to fill the hole with light. Your feelings went as I came. I think this is just sex, drugs, and rock and roll shit. Like he's he's about to knock some girls out on the tour bus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And pleasing the master. Yeah. So fly to a spider, against my web you fight. This is in the 80s when I guess you could still say stuff like that, where you're talking about overcoming resistance, like overcoming female resistance and get away with it. You can't write songs like that now. You'll get murdered. This is Me Too shit. You know what I'm saying? You'll get Me Too'd.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't think you can write songs like this where she's like fighting against his web but ends up being a sexual conquest anyway. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. Go ahead. What are you saying?
I can hear kids in the hallway. I'm telling everybody to go downstairs.
Why? What would they be doing upstairs?
Who knows?
You want to make sure you tell them to go downstairs.
Yeah, I'm already feeling uncomfortable here.
I mean, like I said, it just looks like, he's singing about life on tour. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And how shit goes down.
I thought it was interesting the way that he was defining lust.
What do you mean?
These dumb kids.
What are you doing?
I can hear them in the hallway. I'm not having this conversation with them in the hallway.
Why would they even be upstairs?
I don't know, babe. Maybe they're doing their laundry or whatever they're doing.
Oh my gosh. Is this a Motorhead cover? Is this a cover of a Motorhead song? Soraya wants to go out there and run security. Were they up here?
Yeah. Zoe was sweeping the stairs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, she looked guilty too when I came around the corner. I'm like, go downstairs.
You can make songs about violently murdering your partner, though. Correct. Yes. Yes, you can. Love the way you lie. All that
when
jazz.
he's talking about the lust, isn't he talking about the I don't think he's talking about his lust. I think he's talking about the girl's lust.
Yeah.
The groupie's lust.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that groupies have a lust issue with the rock star for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think that they're.
No, I agree. I guess I was looking at it before like they were victims, but then I'm not really sure why I did that. But we were watching well, we can say this one. We were watching a vegan documentary. What was it? Bad Vegan.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was somewhat of a victim, but at the same time, like, she made the decisions that she made and used the people that she used because she was going to get to a certain end that she wanted.
Yeah. It's just that he double crossed her before she could double cross him, basically, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff where people like...
I actually want to rewatch that documentary because I still don't understand how she fell into that trap. Like, that's still unclear to me how that happened.
Well, one person made their thing.
I reached out to her. I messaged her.
You did?
And I said, hey, I haven't checked if she's responded yet. I was like, hey, you want to do a follow-up interview to whatever. She hasn't responded yet, but anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, that kind of made me say, well, actually, people. There are sometimes I've seen some kind of true crime documentaries where the people, they got sucked into it because they loved the person, and the person was saying, I'm gonna die if you don't send this money, I'm gonna get killed. And so, you know what I mean? It's not for their own. They wanted to save the person's life.
I'm just amazed at how many women get caught up in those schemes, man.
No, yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah. So when I read this, I was like, I'm pretty sure they're talking about the girls and them having lust. And I was like, well, that makes sense. The girls probably, they're lustful. They also want maybe some fame if they get involved with someone who already has fame.
Yeah. They're caught up in the life.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Animal attraction, the numbing of your flesh. No reason to let this action wait. I don't really know what the numbing of your flesh means there. Maybe there's some drugs involved.
I would
which
assume so.
That sounds very Bill Cosby to me. Sounds very, very Bill Cosby to me. The numbing of your flesh.
Yeah.
No reason to let this action wait. Your physical
But wasn't there a certain drug that made your face feel numb?
Yeah, I think Coke and I think other.
Yeah.
I think that's the line. Sometimes I cannot feel my face with corn. I think it's talking about Coke. You can't feel your face on a Coke bench, I think. Open up, take the bait. You taste it revolting, wishing you were dead.
Oh.
The effect, you'll never grow old. Oozing slime, foaming at the mouth, so dizzy
Ew.
the poison takes its toll.
Okay, but he says, are you a believer or are you just a corpse? A worm-eaten mass of disgust. Yeah, I'm a deceiver, the reaper, a leech. The reason you're driven by lust, but you're not the first and you won't be the last. I lead, others will follow. No mercy, forgiveness, no begging for reprieve.
My venom fatal is
Yeah.
swallowed. Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he's very healthy in these situations, but at the same time, he's being honest about them.
Yeah, this is one of the secrets that, I don't know how to say this.
Just say it. Listen closely, ladies.
I think a lot of this is something that it shows up in lyrics a lot, especially in metal. Also a little bit also a lot in rap, but I don't think that women really truly understand what's actually happening. And a lot of that is it's when men are able to have a lot of commitmentless sex with women, they end up truly resenting and having a deep feeling of disgust for that woman that they did that with. So that's why there's all this sexuality and disrespect of women in the hip hop scene. It's they're disgusted by those women. I mean, they get the pleasure from it, but right after that, there's this real deep visceral disgust. I don't want to see you type thing. And Freud talked about that to a degree, and I think Jung talked about it in a more obviously in a Jungian way, but it's one of those things that doesn't get talked about. It almost only gets talked about in art. I've had those conversations with close friends where it was like, yeah, man, I ain't trying to, oh, what happened with Shorty's like, oh, and you could just tell there was an immediate switch. Before, when you were pursuing it, it was, it's all you think about, and then once if it's too, I don't know how to say it, but there's a lot of residual ick factor, and you literally never want to see the girl again, and a lot of it, it's like, oh, men are dogs, they just want that, and then once they get that, and it's worse than that, they're disgusted by it. So he says, are you a believer or are you just a worm-eaten mass of disgust? And he says, I'm a deceiver, a reaper, a lech, the reason you're driven by lust. So, like, you feel gross about yourself, you feel gross about the girl, and then you resent the encounter, and so you never want to see her again because you don't want to be reminded of your own grossness and hers. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but I've seen that. I mean, obviously I've seen it in my life, you know, and I've seen it over and over again with my guys.
Friends. I saw it happen with my friends. I never understood it, but because I was like raised in purity culture, like they basically, like they discouraged that so much that when you saw it happening, you were like, okay, purity culture's all the way right.
Yeah. Yeah, and
not that it is. I don't believe that it is, but
yeah,
it reinforced it because it was like, well,
I would definitely not want my daughters to do the casual sex thing. Like I just don't think. I think it's particularly unhealthy for women. I really do, especially on a psychological level. And purity culture is a lot different from that. Like purity culture is rooted mostly in fear and shame. You know, instead of what's psychological. You know, for a while they had this whole friends with benefits arrangement, and the arrangement was you're friends, you're just having sex because we're so evolved. Mm-hmm. You just have a bunch of commitment-less sex, and hey, it's all good. We're just friends, yada yada. And inevitably, that kind of trend stopped being popular and died out because inevitably feelings got, you know, intertwined with it, and a vast majority of it was women. It wasn't good for women. Psychology Today wrote a bunch of articles about it, how hookup culture and friends with benefits is psychologically damaging, objectively speaking, to women.
Yeah.
So I think if you talk about, you know, male and female sexuality from that vantage point, I think you're going to come a lot closer to reality than just purity culture, which is based on shame and all the other shit. But yeah, I mean, it is a it is a yeah. Post-coital dysphoria, the disgust feelings and has nothing to do with the partner but yourself. Well, yeah, Freud could say on the technical level it has nothing. I don't think he would say it has nothing to do with the partner. I think what you probably mean is like it's not that the partner is disgusting, but it's your own issue. I understand that. What I'm saying is they're projecting their self-disgust onto the disgust of the partner. So I'm not saying that the partner is objectively disgusting. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is in the real world, that's the experience. That the guy is experiencing it as she disgusts me or whatever. And then doesn't want anything to do with it. And a lot of times the girl's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And the guy seems like he's being a real dick by never speaking to her again. But in reality, it's because he doesn't want to say, well, you disgust me. And I agree with Amy that it's not really her. It's you. You're disgusted with yourself. I mean, that's probably TMI, but that was that had been my experience, you know, back in the day or whatever. You know, it was always, you know, with myself versus whatever. But
oh, it was with yourself, not with the girl?
Yeah, if I really analyze it, I don't really think that the girl was. I mean, you know, she was beautiful. She was kept together. Yada yada yada. I didn't. You know, like that changeover because it's immediate. It's like immediate. I don't think that. Yeah, I don't think that I ever really saw because you know how I am. If I thought the girl was gross, I'd never be around her. Yeah, I wouldn't even talk to her in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I hear you.
You know, in all, not just physical appearance, but if I thought that she wasn't, you know, whatever, then I would have never talked to her because, you know, you don't get any points that way around your boys either. Like, oh, you with that dirty girl. So like, I objectively did not think that they were like that, but something happened, you know, psychologically once that moment hit and it was over. It was just, ugh. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's,
Yeah, I was talking to a girl one time that was explaining from her side what that was like. And it was really difficult to hear her talking about it because this was one of those situations where like she kept landing in the situation like that with the same person. and then like he would be like, ugh, and he'd be like done with her for X amount of time, and then all of a sudden he'd come back around, and it would be like one more time, and then it was like, ugh, it was like kept happening to her, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, well, why do you keep putting yourself in that situation with him when you know that's how he's gonna react? And she said, like, I guess while they were together, like him pulling her in and that closeness, like she felt so loved that she kept thinking, maybe this time it's love. Maybe this time he's not going to leave. But then he would just, the same thing. He would get disgusted and he would take off, and it kept happening with the same guy. Like, but it was hard to see her in that situation because, you know, you don't want that for anybody. Like, you don't want to see somebody like putting themselves in terrible situations because they're in a search for love, and they think this might be it.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't like particularly gifted physically or mentally or like anything. Like, you know, she was kind of just terrible. But she was a nice person, and you know, I liked being around her. So I'm sure that it's just terrible.
What do you get the song?
Just terrible. Shoot, you go.
I'm gonna 7.5. I like the metal. The what do you call it? The guitar was the solo was a little bit kind of iffy, but yeah, 7.5 for me. What'd you give it?
I'll go with a 7.9.
Okay. Very true to the human experience, eh? You look a tad befuddled there, Missy.
Yeah, it's troublesome and I mean, it's true to the human experience. It's just, it's hard to hear both sides of it, and it's very weird when you say it because you're such a loyal person to me. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's hard. It's difficult to picture those two sides, you know what I mean? Like, that you can have those kind of experiences, but then, you know, like we have our experiences that I obviously don't see that side of you, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's wild. But I think it's important for people to know, and important to be discussed, and important for girls to understand, and boys too.
Well, I mean,
because like obviously my knee jerk is to feel bad for the girls, but at the same time, like, I mean, that's pretty. Like, the girl is going to feel like a victim, you know, and she can feel sad for herself. But I would think that for the guy in that situation, you don't necessarily feel like a victim, even though you've been a victim of your own self. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you probably maybe feel like kind of like a shitty person. I don't know.
Yeah, you just feel like a bad person. You don't feel like a victim.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so when you're a victim, you can kind of feel bad for yourself and be like, wow, this shouldn't have been like this. Like, I should have been blah, blah, blah. But, like, when you're the one that created that situation, like, I don't know, there's got to be a whole nother level of, like, pity that you could have for somebody in that situation as well, I guess you could
On
say.
that note, dear listener, the moral of the story is if you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. This way, this will help you. Vin out!
Sorry out.